From the Irishman having beef with the testing agency, to fans blaming his off-ring troubles for his epic fail. Here's why Conor McGregor really missed the USADA deadline. It's no secret that the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency and Mystic Mac have a rocky history. Once it was announced that the fighter was making his comeback, the MMA world braced itself for the drama. After a 2-year hiatus, you'd expect Conor to know enough about the USADA testing procedures. He had a lot of time on his hands to rehabilitate and recover, but from the looks of it, the Irishman didn't do his research. The former featherweight champion talked about only undergoing 2 drug tests and spilled the beans on a meeting that he set up with USADA. It looks like he was under the impression that he can come out of retirement and compete, all while being outside of the drug testing pool. Unfortunately, the UFC's official drug testing partner debunked everything Conor McGregor said, releasing an official statement saying there was no meeting. All that constant communication that he was raving about on the MMA Hour was just a lie. USADA informed Mystic Mac of the official procedure via their public statement, which is honestly embarrassing. They also made it clear that the 2 clean drug test exception would not apply to McGregor, which is what he was hoping for, sprinkling salt on his already wounded ego. Well played, USADA. I can't say the same for the fighter, though. When you're already under fire for supposedly using performance-enhancing drugs, why would you go against the standard procedure for drug testing? This fueled all the rising suspicions about Conor and how he used illegal substances during his recovery. Fighters like Anthony Smith started accusing the Notorious of the same thing, while others began to question why he was removed from the testing pool in the first place. Things were really heating up for McGregor, and Joe Rogan spoke out too. Joe accused the Celtic Tiger of using performance-enhancing drugs during his recovery. He said Conor's piss would melt that USADA cup. Now that was a graphic image, but the difference in Mac's physique before and during his break was undeniable, at least when Joe talked about this in December of 2022. The presenter went on to describe a loophole in USADA's testing process, implying that athletes shouldn't be able to leave the pool at all. If fighters are juicing up during their time off, it definitely gives them an unfair advantage over their opponents when they finally step into the cage. This whole debate was not a good look for the fighter. It was getting harder and harder for his fans to defend him as more pictures of him started coming out. People were starting to say that he went crazy, and not in the best way. While these conspiracies were circulating on the internet, Conor McGregor was getting ready to drop a bombshell about his much-awaited return to the UFC. When it was finally confirmed in February 2023, fans lost it. Suddenly, all the speculation about him taking PEDs and ruining his career didn't matter. His extremely devoted fan base was patiently waiting for the champ to return, and they came close to getting what they wanted this year. After breaking his leg in the July 2021 Dustin Poirier fight, the Irishman wasn't even sure if he could fight again. Finally, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. When Dana White announced Conor McGregor would be one of the coaches for Season 31 of The Ultimate Fighter, along with Michael Chandler, the MMA world expanded. More than the season itself, people were excited about the traditional matchup of the coaches that happens at the end of every tough season. Plus, Chandler would be the perfect opponent for McGregor's comeback, and the former 2-weight champion himself said so. Who doesn't love an entertaining fight where 2 rivals face off against each other? Well, it was revealed that all the buildup for the highly anticipated fight was for nothing. Mystic Mac ended up missing the deadline that USADA set. The fight was expected to happen on December 16th, aka the final UFC pay-per-view event of the year. In order to compete, Conor had to complete just one condition: enter the Anti-Doping Agency's testing pool before June 16th. I don't know about you, but that seems pretty easy to me. While there was no official announcement, fans were quick to notice that Mac's name wasn't uploaded to the agency's online database. No matter how many times the page was refreshed, Conor McGregor's name didn't show up on the list. Now that's how you shatter the hopes of millions across the world. To think that all the hype around this fight that the Notorious was building was pointless. In the days leading up to 2UP and the scheduled bout, Conor was all about hoping for 100 more fights, consistency, and a run. He said he wanted the on-off loop to end, and it's really disappointing he wasn't able to. With his comeback delayed until God knows when, Mystic Mac will be lucky if he gets back all the support he's lost. Despite all the press and interviews pumping up the fight, McGregor didn't seem to take it seriously at all. While Chandler was going hard at the gym and training long hours, the ex-lightweight champ was partying it up with stars like Chris Brown and Gervonta Davis. And if you think that's not crazy enough, when this news was made public, it was also revealed that the Notorious hadn't officially started training for his future fight. He was just living his life, hopping from party to party on different continents, all while downing his own brand of Whiskey Proper 12. Looking at the videos of him drinking straight from the bottle in the middle of BKFC should have been the biggest red flag. But of course, the fans wanted to be delusional and actually think Conor McGregor was taking this seriously. There's no doubt that the 34-year-old fighter is going to face some serious consequences because of this whole situation, with some reporters even predicting that he could lose his UFC contract. Can you even imagine the promotion without the legendary Mystic Mac? After all, he is the face of the company and has raked in millions, if not billions, for Dana White & Co. Plus, he's done pretty well for himself too, accumulating a massive net worth of $200 million. He's on a different level, and at this point, it looks like the UFC needs him more than he needs the UFC, considering the milestones he's accomplished in the past, along with the fact that he has made some good money. McGregor doesn't seem to care about what his future in MMA will look like. As if all this wasn't enough evidence, the president of the UFC admitted just a few weeks ago that it was hard to reel him in. Just because you're the highest paid UFC fighter doesn't mean that you can treat the sport like your playground. All the star power and fame have clearly gotten to Mystic Mac's head. Now that they're looking back and putting the dots together, fans are seeing all the signs that the Irishman was not taking this seriously, and the bout was doomed from the start. Plus, Conor's image problem goes well beyond his audience. Fighters have started to lose respect for him, including his rival coach and potential opponent Michael Chandler. He posted an angry video on Twitter mocking the Irish fighter and mockingly captioning it. Where the f*** is Conor McGregor? If Conor's got nothing to hide, why is he running away from USADA? Not to mention, he simply can't hold this off any longer because his reputation has already taken a huge hit. As if losing fan support wasn't enough, the Irishman can expect to lose out on endorsements and sponsorships too. At this point, Conor's lucky if he gets to step into the octagon again. Even after this roller coaster of a journey, the Irish fighter is as cocky as ever. He took to Instagram to address the haters, asking them to shut up and wait, ending the short and not so sweet caption that said, "Patience, peasants." I don't know if this is just me, but I wouldn't speak to my followers like that if my career was on the line. Fans clearly see things the same way and have resorted to attacking the UFC star on Twitter. I've got to admit, some of the insults are very creative. They made jabs at him for being too busy to pay attention to the UFC because he's caught up getting involved in assault scandals, along with accusing him of still being on steroids. It looks like things are only going to go downhill from here. So, from fans blaming his offering troubles to the Irishman having beef with the testing agency. This was the real reason that Conor McGregor missed the USADA deadline.